Good evening, America. Tonight, we bring you breaking news that's sending shockwaves across the globe and raising serious questions about the expanding reach of American military power. On Christmas Day, President Donald Trump ordered U.S. military strikes against ISIS targets in northwest Nigeria. The president claims the strikes targeted terrorists who have been systematically killing Christians in Africa's most populous nation. But the reality on the ground in Nigeria is far more complex than Trump's narrative suggests, and tonight we're bringing you the full story behind the strikes, the controversy, and what it means for American foreign policy. Let's start with what we know about the strikes themselves. Late Thursday evening, President Trump announced on Truth Social that he had directed what he called a powerful and deadly strike against ISIS terrorist scum in northwest Nigeria. According to the president, these militants have been targeting and viciously killing primarily innocent Christians at levels not seen for many years and even centuries. Trump wrote, "I have previously warned these terrorists that if they did not stop the slaughtering of Christians, there would be hell to pay, and tonight there was." U.S. Africa Command confirmed the operation, stating that strikes were conducted in Sokoto State, a region in Nigeria's northwest that borders Niger. According to AFRICOM, the strikes killed multiple ISIS terrorists at ISIS camps in the area. In a post on X that was later deleted, AFRICOM stated the strikes were conducted at the request of Nigerian authorities. This detail is crucial. It suggests coordination between the U.S. and Nigerian governments, though the extent of that coordination remains unclear. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, who Trump refers to as the Secretary of War, posted his gratitude for Nigerian government support and cooperation and ominously added, "More to come." The Department of Defense released a 9-second video showing what appeared to be a missile being launched from a military vessel. However, no details were provided about how many strikes were conducted, what specific targets were hit, or how many casualties resulted. Daniel Bwala, special advisor to Nigerian President Bola Tinubu, told CNN, "The U.S. and Nigeria are on the same page in the fight against terrorism." Nigeria's foreign ministry confirmed early Friday morning that precision airstrikes hit terrorist targets in the northwest and that Nigeria remains engaged with Washington in structured security cooperation. This marks a significant escalation of U.S. military involvement in Nigeria, a country that until recently was not considered a major theater of American counter-terrorism operations. To understand these Christmas Day strikes, we need to go back several months to when Trump first began threatening military action against Nigeria. In November, Trump accused Nigeria of failing to protect its Christian population and warned he would do things in Nigeria that Nigeria is not going to be happy about, and threatened to go into the country guns ablazing. That same month, Trump ordered the Pentagon to begin planning for potential military action in Nigeria and warned he would suspend aid to the West African nation. The Trump administration also designated Nigeria as a country of particular concern under the U.S. International Religious Freedom Act. This designation suggests the administration believes Nigeria has engaged or tolerated systematic violations of religious freedom. According to Al Jazeera's reporting, the threat of U.S. military action had been percolating. For some time, in the past 2 months, with congressional pressure, the State Department declared Nigeria a country of concern regarding Christian rights. The U.S. had begun overflight surveillance of Nigeria from an airbase in Accra, Ghana, over the last several weeks before the strike. Republican Senator Tom Cotton praised the strikes, saying, "I commend President Trump, Secretary Hegseth, and our brave troops for these strikes against bloodthirsty ISIS savages who are not only persecuting Christians, but also have killed many Americans." Trump's UN ambassador Mike Waltz posted, "Merry Christmas to the Christians in Nigeria and around the world who know tonight that the President of the United States will fight for them." The timing is politically significant. Trump has positioned himself as a defender of persecuted Christians worldwide, a stance that plays well with his evangelical Christian base, which forms a core part of his political coalition. Al Jazeera's Shihab Ratansi noted, "On Christmas Day, the Trump administration acts. This will go down very well with Trump's evangelical Christian base, I am sure." But here's the critical question. Does Trump's narrative about Christian persecution in Nigeria match the reality on the ground?
Nigeria is a country of over 220 million people, Africa's most populous nation. It's roughly evenly divided between Christians, who primarily live in the south and middle regions, and Muslims, who predominantly inhabit the northern states. For over 15 years, Nigeria has been plagued by multiple armed conflicts involving various militant groups. The most notorious are Boko Haram, which launched an insurgency in 2009 to establish an Islamic State, and its offshoot, the Islamic State West Africa Province, known as ISWAP. These groups have indeed carried out horrific attacks. According to the International Society for Civil Liberties and the Rule of Law, approximately 7,000 Christians were killed in Nigeria in the first 220 days of 2025 alone, an average of 35 deaths per day. Since 2009, violence has displaced at least 12 million Christians. Christian advocacy organizations like Open Doors report that more Christians are killed for their faith in Nigeria than anywhere else in the world. The attacks are brutal: mass killings, church burnings, kidnappings for ransom, and sexual violence against women. However, and this is crucial, Christians are not the only victims of this violence. Muslims have also been massacred in large numbers. According to the Armed Conflict Location and Event Data Project, a crisis monitoring group, out of more than 20,400 civilians killed in attacks between January 2020 and September 2025, 317 deaths were from attacks specifically targeting Christians, while 417 were from attacks specifically targeting Muslims. The organization noted that the vast majority of civilian deaths did not include religious affiliation data, meaning most violence isn't explicitly religious in nature. In August 2025, at least 50 worshippers were killed when gunmen attacked a mosque in the northwestern state of Katsina. Just this Christmas Day, at least 5 people were killed and dozens injured in an explosion at a mosque in the northeastern city of Maiduguri. Bulama Bukarti, a Nigerian human rights advocate specializing in security and development, stated, "Yes, these extremist groups have sadly killed many Christians. However, they have also massacred tens of thousands of Muslims." He added that attacks in public spaces disproportionately harm Muslims, since these radical groups operate in predominantly Muslim states. The violence in Nigeria is multifaceted. Beyond jihadist terrorism, there are conflicts between predominantly Christian farmers and predominantly Muslim herders over increasingly scarce land and water resources. There are ethnic rivalries, there's organized banditry and kidnapping for ransom, there are political power struggles. A Nigerian government official wrote in October that while Christians have suffered horrific attacks, a significant portion of the violence mischaracterized as religious persecution stems from long-standing clashes between mostly Christian farmers and largely Muslim herders over land. Conflicts in the country are multifaceted, driven by ethnic rivalries, land disputes, and criminality, with religion often secondary, the official wrote. Nigerian President Bola Tinubu has rejected claims that his government is not doing enough to protect Christians. He stated, "The characterization of Nigeria as religiously intolerant does not reflect our national reality. Religious freedom and tolerance have been a core tenet of our collective identity and shall always remain so." In a Christmas message posted hours before the U.S. strikes, Tinubu wrote, I stand committed to doing everything within my power to enshrine religious freedom in Nigeria and to protect Christians, Muslims, and all Nigerians from violence. This doesn't diminish the very real persecution Christians face in Nigeria. It does, however, complicate Trump's simple narrative that this is primarily about Christians being targeted by Muslims. Another important question: who exactly did the U.S. strike on Christmas Day? The U.S. Africa Command said the strikes hit ISIS targets in Sokoto State, but Sokoto is not the primary stronghold of Boko Haram or ISWAP. Those groups operate mainly in the northeast, in states like Borno and Yobe. Security analysts told Reuters that a lesser-known group called Lakurawa, which operates in northwestern states, including Sokoto, could have been the target. Lakurawa has become increasingly deadly this year, often targeting remote communities and security forces while hiding in forests between states. The strikes could also have targeted ISIS-affiliated militants who have been expanding their operations into new territories. What's clear is that the Trump administration had limited intelligence about the specific threat these targets posed and conducted the strikes quickly, possibly for maximum political impact on Christmas Day. CNN military analyst and retired U.S. Air Force Colonel Cedric Leighton noted that the strike could disrupt ISIS operations in the short term, but the long-term issues that surround violence in Nigeria are extremely complex. Indeed, Nigeria's security crisis involves overstretched military forces deployed in 2/3 of the country's states. According to the National Human Rights Commission, at least 2,266 people were killed by bandits or insurgents during just the first half of 2025, surpassing the total for all of 2024. The UN Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs reports that Nigeria faces a humanitarian emergency with more than 7.8 million people, approximately 80% of them women and children, requiring urgent assistance. A single airstrike, no matter how powerful and deadly, cannot solve these deeply rooted problems.
The Christmas Day strikes on Nigeria raise serious questions about the direction of American foreign policy under Trump's second term. Trump campaigned as a peacemaker who would limit U.S. military intervention abroad. Yet since returning to office, he has ordered strikes on Iran's nuclear program, overseen a massive military buildup around Venezuela with threats of military action, conducted large-scale strikes against ISIS targets in Syria, and now launched operations in Nigeria. Former Congressman Adam Kinzinger, a Republican critic of Trump, supported the Nigeria strikes, writing, "Anywhere ISIS exists and operates should never be safe for them. Nigeria has been combating these terrorists and requested assistance, and it was the right call to strike them." However, others worry about mission creep, the gradual expansion of military operations beyond their original scope. Nigeria is a sovereign nation with its own military forces. While coordination occurred, the extent of Nigeria's actual request for these strikes remains murky. There are also concerns about setting precedents. If the U.S. conducts military strikes whenever the president claims religious persecution is occurring, where does it stop? Would the U.S. strike in India over Hindu-Muslim violence? In Myanmar over the treatment of Rohingya Muslims? In China over treatment of Uyghur Muslims? The selective application of military force based on which religious group is being persecuted raises troubling questions about whether foreign policy is being driven by domestic political considerations rather than consistent principles. Nigeria's situation is also complicated by the fact that its own military has been accused of human rights violations during counter-terrorism operations, including extrajudicial killings, rape, torture, and arbitrary detentions. Nigerian forces have also conducted erroneous airstrikes that killed civilians. By partnering with Nigerian security forces, the U.S. risks becoming complicit in these abuses, or at minimum, being seen as endorsing them. Finally, there's the question of effectiveness. Nigeria has been fighting Boko Haram and ISWAP for over 15 years with limited success. These groups have proven resilient, adapting their tactics and continuing to recruit new members despite military pressure. A few U.S. airstrikes are unlikely to change that dynamic. Without addressing the root causes, poverty, lack of economic opportunity, weak governance, ethnic tensions, and resource scarcity, the violence will continue regardless of how many militants are killed. What we're witnessing with these Christmas Day strikes is the intersection of genuine humanitarian crisis, complex geopolitical reality, and domestic political theater. There is no question that terrible violence is occurring in Nigeria. Christians are being killed, so are Muslims. Civilians of all faiths are suffering at the hands of brutal extremist groups. The question is whether American military strikes are the right response and whether they're being conducted for the right reasons. President Trump has positioned these strikes as defending persecuted Christians. That narrative resonates with his political base and fits his self-image as a strong leader who acts decisively. But the reality is more complicated. Nigeria's conflicts are rooted in ethnic tensions, resource competition, governance failures, and yes, religious extremism, but not exclusively targeting one faith. By framing this as primarily about Christian persecution, Trump risks oversimplifying a complex situation and potentially inflaming religious tensions rather than reducing them. The strikes also raise fundamental questions about American foreign policy. When should the U.S. use military force abroad? Should domestic political considerations influence those decisions? And can military strikes solve problems that are fundamentally political, economic, and social in nature? These are questions that deserve serious debate, not just applause lines about defending Christians or killing terrorists. As Defense Secretary Hegseth promised more to come, Americans should ask, what is the strategy here? What are the objectives? How will we measure success? And what happens if these strikes, like so many before them, fail to achieve lasting results? Nigeria's crisis demands attention and action, but the action must be smart, sustainable, and based on a clear-eyed understanding of the situation, not on political narratives designed for domestic consumption.